You had your arms loaded up already. You were trying to get him. I was like, let me get him. Like, oh my god. I sincerely thought you'd packed things in there with him. I was like, man, she was really at a premium for space. She's got like brick collection in there with Craig.
You open it, just, hello.
Open it, he's like, I was like, whoa! That's a big boy.
It was all my ex's fault.
He chonked him.
He had this philosophy of just like keeping food in there all the time because he used to have an outdoor cat that actually like exercised and shit.
Gotcha.
You can't treat an indoor cat the same way.
No, you can't. At least not everyone. I'm sure there are some indoor cats that are wild enough that they probably don't have weight problems. But well, thank you for the happy birthdays. And a good morning to all. Yes. Happy birthday and happy Friday. Yeah. It's a Friday birthday. These were the best ones because you could have a birthday party and like a sleepover when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Didn't have school the next day. Yeah, I've got one of those birthdays that just kind of like travels around.
Yeah.
It travels through the week. I mean, does everybody's birthday do that?
Yeah.
So everybody's like you'll have one on a Friday, and then next year it's on a Saturday, and the next year it's on a Sunday, next year it's on Monday. Yeah.
I just got lucky because it falls so close to MLK Day that I got a lot of 3-day weekends for my birthday.
Oh, that is nice.
So I got to take advantage like 4 years in a row when it was on like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Oh yeah. It isn't Paul's birthday. He's been trolling the entire time. You'll have to figure that out for yourself, man. Either I'm really dedicated to a really unfunny April Fool's joke, or I am the April Fool's joke. It's one of the two, you know. It's a perfect day for me to be born. Explain the sweater. Sweater is... Did TJ shit his britches, and it's a poll, and it's 51%, obviously 50% clearly yes.
It's on sale.
Yeah, it's on sale. You can get one.
That is probably the comfiest hoodie you have right now too. It's all fleecy on the inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like extra big. Kind of like oversized for me, so I'm just like, oh, yeah. Big, comfy. Do you leave the house with that on? I have, I believe.
You don't leave the house very often, so I can't think of an instance specifically.
I'm not a go out and do things kind of guy. Spend a lot of time in my house. You're comforted by the truth as well. Oh, thanks, Pangloss, for the 413. And the well wishes.
They mean it's extra comfy because it's true.
Yes, true. Yes. Hey, Paul, I'm feeling a bit sad this morning. Kyle hit me with a fact yesterday. This had me thinking. I was talking, those of you that don't know, I went on Kyle Kalinski's show yesterday. And we had the typical Paul talk, I think. Maybe not as typical as a lot of them. Like, we talked quite a bit about atheism and religion. We talked a little bit about education, but eventually we found our way to the lesser of two evils, kind of electoralism stuff. And I kind of gave my spiel as best as I could, and he gave his. We don't quite see eye to eye, although I think there's a lot of empathy that I feel coming out of him. It's like I've had this talk with so many people, right? And all of them, none of them will even admit that there's any kind of logic or moral backing for what it is that I do. And he was like right on board with me with that. He was like, you know, he brought up himself the idea of a moral red line for voting, and how that's what he struggles with every year, is looking at the individual contributions of these people, like Biden being a racist, a segregationist, a warmonger, a corporatist. And he has a really hard time convincing himself that walking across that moral red line is the best thing to do. And so we were talking, and it was actually a pretty typical talk, but he brought up something that I really honestly had not thought about in depth. And hearing it come out of him, also being that he has this naturally empathetic way of talking about this subject, I feel like he and I are not as far apart as like maybe TJ and I were at the time, Vosh and I were at the time we talked. And he said, you know, one of the main things that I look at with the Biden administration that I'm excited for, because I had brought up, you know, these labor movements that are happening. The Amazon Workers Union in Staten Island is just about to. Oh my God, man! Is this? Wasn't it just like yesterday or 2 days ago? This is a fucking meme. We'll just let it. We'll just listen to this. Springtime, yeah. Over there, or is it over here? I guess that's a smaller yard. You still come through well? Really? I can barely hear myself. Yeah, dude. They don't want me talking about this. Anyway, I'll try and sneak it in. He said, you know, the National Labor Relations Board is one of his favorite arguments for the lesser of two evils vote. You know, and it kind of gave me pause, because it is one area where, if you look at, I can't remember the names of the folks that he put on the National Labor Relations Board, but if you look at their history, they're a lot better than the people that Trump put there, which means that the federal government is going to be more likely to acquiesce. You mowing? No. But I live in a small neighborhood, so when somebody else is mowing, everybody's mowing. It's okay. Oh man.
It's a 2-man thing.
Oh, it is? Well, that's good. That means it'll finish up quicker. Sounds like a gigantic swarm of warrior wasps. can hear you surprisingly well, actually, yeah. I'll wait, and then we'll talk about it.
You gotta hear yourself think, too.
Yeah, I gotta be able to hear myself think. All I hear is mowing. Me too. I could have sworn it was just like a couple of days ago that this same yard was getting done. They got like a 3-day-a-week thing.
I don't know.
A fart of humanity, indeed. Come on. Come on, Newsom. Ban those small engines. Any second now. Cat. I'm in the Truman Show, yeah. Is that a real sky up there? I don't know. This is why I gotta live in a non-established neighborhood where there are no lawns. So there's, you know, maybe once a year you have somebody come out and mow down around your house. Put some weed eater around your house so it doesn't grow back, and then the rest of it you just leave. But Elon Musk has got to get Starlink up and running before I can do that.
Yeah.
I swear to God, dude, if Elon Musk had Starlink up and running, I'd probably already be living out in the middle of nowhere. There's so many little places that are affordable for us that come with like a big chunk of land that really the only problem is...
It'll have like 35 megabits per second internet available.
Yeah. Yeah, not megabytes, megabits.
Or it's got the big M. So is that megabytes?
The big M and
The
the
lowercase
lowercase b
Yeah.
is megabytes.
Yeah, okay. It's still kind of pathetic.
Wait, no. The big M and the lowercase b is megabits, and the big
Okay.
M and uppercase M is megabytes.
Okay.
A byte, a bit is 1,000 bits is a byte,
Mm-hmm.
and 1,000 bytes is a megabyte.
Okay.
So wait, no. I'm fucking wrong about that. I can't. Maybe there's a nerd in the chat that can help us out with this.
Uppercase M, lowercase BPS.
Yeah. I'm wrong. I'm completely wrong.
It's still pathetic internet speeds, though.
Yeah, it's. I know it's low. I have tons of different internet speed things floating around in my head from working at the school district and growing up with baud-based modems, and so Computer Dude has lost his touch. Computer Dude doesn't need to know how many bytes is in a bit and shit to unplug and replug in a computer, bro. Consider yourself an expert in any subject. If not, what subject do you consider having most expertise in? I don't really consider myself an expert in any subject. Like if I have an expertise, it's probably the stage performance and like the things that surround that, prepping for a live performance, performing, learning a piece of material, creating a bit with multiple people. I would say that like public speak. I'm not really great at public speaking. People are always pointing out my myths with public speaking. Like I use a lot of filler, like uhs and ums. That's a bad public speaker right there. I use because most people do it. Most people, will fill in as they're creating a sentence in their head. But public speakers, it presents as unsure, unsteady, unstable in whatever you're saying. And so uhs and ums are bad. I fill in a lot with do you know what I mean? Like I'll end every other sentence with, you know what I mean, when I'm talking to somebody, and that's just like another natural human thing. Tons and tons of people do it. It's an empathy thing. It's seeking empathetic response in a person while you're talking. It's seeking like an engaged response from a person to let you know that they're listening to you and that they're following what you're saying. But yeah, no, I wouldn't say I'm a great public speaker.
You're good at talking to people, for sure, like on a one-on-one.
Conversationalist, maybe?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm an expert conversationalist, but no. I really don't consider myself an expert in anything. If there's one thing that I've done, the charismatic, I was reading somebody's comment and speaking at the same time. The requisite amount of hours to do, it would be acting, stagecraft, that sort of thing. And something that comes up pretty often in my job, but I don't use the full spectrum of it. It's one of those things that I've honestly thought about as time goes on here. Kelly, please. As time goes on in my life, I've thought about ways to weave more of that in. More of that stagecraft type of thing. You're a raconteur. I like that word. There was a band called the Raconteurs, which was kind of, I think it was like a super group. I think it had Jack White in it and somebody else. But anyway, yeah, I like that word. Jack White's band, yeah. You have a monologue that you're really good at that you think best demonstrates your acting talents. My favorite audition piece that I ever worked is actually on this channel. If you want to go look at me performing it, I titled it "We Need to Believe, Dick." It's a monologue that's given by a character in Stephen Sondheim's musical Assassins. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy. He's a guy that tried to, like, he planned to assassinate Nixon, but they caught him before he got to it.
There was a lot of Nixon assassination attempts.
Yeah, there was. Anyway, yeah, you can look that up on the channel if you're interested in seeing me. That's probably my favorite audition piece that I ever worked. I was able to perform that so well at that time because my audition was razor sharp. I couldn't just bust it out now. My brain doesn't work that way with monologues. They stay there as long as I'm working them, but over the course of time, the longer it goes not working, I mean, it makes sense, right? But at the time that I performed that, I was auditioning a lot, and so it was like honed to a razor edge. It was that monologue has gotten me quite a few parts and shows. One of the downsides to that monologue is that I was auditioning in front of a lot of the same companies, and so I couldn't use it over and over again like I would if I was traveling around. But yeah, that's my favorite audition piece ever. I also like, there's one, it's the downside to this other one that I really like is that it's performed a lot. It's from a really well-known show, and then within that show as an audition piece, it's a really well-known monologue. But the I'm cracking up monologue from The Odd Couple. Oscars, I can't take it anymore, Felix, I'm cracking up monologue. That one always like never fails to get a laugh from the audience, and I like to juxtapose those two. Sometimes you're asked in an audition to prepare a single monologue, right? And a lot of times in an audition or during callbacks, you're asked to do juxtaposing monologues. And so if ever I'm asked to do a juxtaposing monologue, that's an easy one for me to choose. Are there any movie monologues you can remember? Sure. I've messed around here and done the, at least part of the Hannibal Lecter monologue. When he's talking to Clarice for the first time. How quickly the boys found you, yes? All those tedious, sticky fumblings in the back seats of cars when all you could dream about was getting out, getting away, getting anywhere, getting all the way to the FBI. Good nutrition has given you some length of bone, but you're not one generation from poor white trash, are you, Agent Starling? You know what I see with your good bag and your cheap shoes when I look at you? I see a rube, a well-scrubbed, hustling rube. I love that shit, dude. That is just like one of those, I don't know, dude, it's just such a great movie moment.
Didn't Anthony Hopkins play Nixon at one point?
He did, and it's awful.
Because he's forever Hannibal.
Well, not only that, but it's just like his portrayal of it is basically just like, it sounds like a horrible Nixon impersonation. Like when he's, I'm not a crook, or it's just bad. He was just not cast well in that.
He's a great actor, but not Nixon.
But yeah, he definitely, like, that's his defining character is Hannibal Lecter. He's I just can't take any, I can't think of another actor that could have done it. Dios mío. Yeah, I liked him in The Mask of Zorro, honestly. He actually plays Zorro in that. That's a movie that not like hardly anybody ever talks about anymore, but it's one of the movies that I had in my little sad box of movies when I moved out of my parents' house and went to Arizona. It's one of the cheap, bargain basement VHSs that I had to pop into my little all-in-one TV VHS player. And I watch that movie a lot. It's pretty good, man. It's a good little action romp. I liked Antonio Banderas in the lead role. Is he an old Zorro or Zorro's dad? He's the original Zorro in the movie, but he's getting old. And then he discovers, he crosses paths with Antonio Banderas' character and decides that he needs to train somebody else to do all the hard work of being Zorro. Since Zorro is a masked guy, you can switch it up. And he explains that he, at some point in the movie, I'm pretty sure he explains that he wasn't the first Zorro or whatever, that there was one before him, and that there's always, there's always a Zorro around or whatever. It's a good movie. It's got Catherine Zeta-Jones in it, too. It's a very famous scene where she has a duel with Antonio Banderas, and instead of scoring a hit on her, he basically like cuts her out of her dress. He like makes little incisions in her dress, and then they sword fight a little bit, and he cuts another sleeve off. And then finally he makes one last little cut, and the whole dress falls off. She's like, ah! That's how he wins.
Too much shame.
Yeah, if she would have just kept fighting, she probably could have beat him, because then he would have been the distracted one. Had them Catherine Zeta titties just bouncing all over the place while you're trying to sword fight. I can't imagine that's easy. The Lone Ranger kind of fizzled out after that Depp one. I mean, yeah, that was horrible.
He definitely, like, the Captain... I'm spacing on his name, but whatever. When he was in Pirates of the Caribbean, that kind of defined him for a while.
Sparrow.
Yeah.
Captain Jack Sparrow. Yeah, I mean, Johnny Depp's had a lot of those types of roles, though, and he's always transcended them. I mean, when he came out, it's always kind of like a long time between Johnny Depp roles that are breakout. And so for a long time, people had a hard time imagining him as anything other than Edward Scissorhands. And then after Edward Scissorhands, he was... I'm trying to think what he did in between Edward Scissorhands and Pirates.
Was that Gilbert Grape, or was that...
Gilbert Grape was earlier, I think.
Yeah.
I think he... Maybe I'm wrong about that, though. I don't know. I think it might have been right around the same time, honestly. Oh, yeah, he did Hunter S. Thompson. And, what's the name of the movie? Not Leaving Las Vegas. My brain just keeps going, Leaving Las Vegas. No, it's not Leaving Las Vegas. That's the Nick Cage movie. Leaving Las Vegas. Fear and Loathing, thank you.
Yeah.
In Las Vegas. Fucking stupid brain. Stupid Paul brain.
I was spacing on the name, too. I was like, that movie, that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he did Sleepy Hollow in there, too. And then he did Wonka. I don't even know, dude.
Well, Wonka was not.
It ended up sinking, like, halfway through his Captain Jack Sparrow era, honestly. Like, that character became annoying as time went on because he didn't grow or change at all. A character that is so static that there's no difference between the first movie in a series and the sixth when it comes to their portrayal. That's a bad character, man. As much as people like to think of themselves as like bastions of constants, people are constantly changing. That's the only constant in people's lives, if you're honest about it. Small changes here and there in mannerism and thought process and philosophy, constant.
I mean, he goes through so much shit that you'd hope that one of those changed him. It goes through all these, like, things that would normally be defining moments for other characters.
Yeah. His Mad Hatter is his most forgettable role. I mean, yeah, his collaboration with, what's his name?
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton, yeah. Was amazing at the beginning and kind of, like, became cringe at the end,
Tim Burton did that musical too, right?
He did Sweeney Todd.
Yeah, which you hated.
You cannot. I've seen Sweeney Todd 3 times in theaters at various levels of production, like high level, expensive production, and a very like stripped down 0 prop production. I actually liked that one the best. That was the coolest one. But anyway, because I got to be real close to it. But if you've seen that show, you will hate the movie. You will. Because if you've seen the show, you understand a few things about like the characters that don't make any sense. And you understand that like every one of those characters needs to be a top level singer. Like if you listen to, you can even do this on YouTube. I can almost guarantee you can find any number of Sweeney Todd songs sung by Helena Bonham Carter or Johnny Depp or what's his fucking name that played Pirelli,
We're talking about Sacha
Ali
Baron
Z.
Cohen. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
Or Ali G or whatever his name was, that his other character. And I can't remember what his fucking real name is off the top. But yeah. Just listen to any of those songs. So few of the people in that show have the chops to sing the parts that they were. Sacha Baron Cohen, thank you. Yeah.
Gerard Butler.
Was he in it?
Or no, he was in Les Mis.
Yeah, he was in Les Mis. That's a whole other ball of wax. Les Mis is one of those shows that if you haven't seen it on stage, you are missing out, man. That is a spectacle, like a feast for the eyes. Oh, he was in Phantom? Okay, got it. That's another one that I've seen that you gotta see, man. It's what you have to see it live. It is unreal.
Yeah. I'd say the only musical to movie thing that really worked was Jersey Boys, just because they used the same cast from the theater production.
Yeah, I mean, like if they had, and they could have done that for Sweeney Todd. It just wouldn't have sold anywhere near as many tickets.
Yeah.
It's Johnny Depp collaborating with Tim Burton that got people's asses in the seats, and I understand that, but I'm just telling you, man. Yeah, that's a military plane that does a lot of like patrols around here.
I think a refueler, I think is what it is.
Yeah, I think we were able to see it good enough one day and look it up, and it's like a refueling jet, like a big tanker. But anyway.
If we're not cast in the stage cast, then it's not the same.
No. And, I mean, it's not the same breaking it up into cuts either. Like, putting it in the movie form strips something out of it, in my opinion, because there's no cuts on a live show. Mm-hmm. You sing it straight through. You perform it straight through. That's one of the things that makes it so amazing. You know, when you see it done at a really high level with a lot of care.
How'd you feel about Rocky Horror?
I like Rocky Horror because it you know, it's definitely different from the original stage show, but it's so fucking true to the spirit of it. Mm-hmm. And it became its own thing. Mm-hmm. It was just like such a niche thing. You looking forward to the Wonka prequel? No. They tried to reboot it recently and it was god awful. Yeah. Happy birthday. I love the streams. Thank you. Thank you, folks. It's cool. I appreciate the birthday wishes, but they're not necessary. We're good. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't hit the same after 40, does it?
It doesn't hit the same after 30. I really got bored of the cycle of birthdays at around 30. Not to, you know, poo-poo shit, but I just don't need birthday stuff. It's nice when people say happy birthday or whatever, but that's about all I need. It doesn't hit the same after 12. I guess, yeah.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, there's different hits.
There's stages. Maybe as I get super old, if I live that long, and I get super old, maybe then they'll start being significant again. Maybe you come back around again, but here in middle age, it's just it's another day. It's another year. Lucky for you, we're not in real life then, because I would ply you with an unhealthy amount of cookies. Oh boy, cookies. I like cookies. Would have donated a few streams ago, and I haven't got my paycheck yet. No worries, dude. Donations are always appreciated, never solicited. You know, you just kind of hanging out and being here is a donation in and of itself. Send you a card if you had an address. Yeah, I'll give you my address. Honestly, it's 123 Lunar View Way, the Moon. Zip code 696969. Lunar View Way, comma, the Moon. You got to make sure you break it up properly. Yeah, but you got it. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Oh, thanks, Devin. And thanks, Darn Cha-Cha. You guys are kind. Paul is living it up at Fake Street, California. Oh, yeah. The moon looks fantastic this time of year, yeah. Hopefully I have that address right. Your $10 million birthday check is in the mail. All right, yeah. Hopefully so. Go back and re-listen if you don't have it. Looks like the San Joaquin Valley sky. I mean, it looks like a sky, bro. The sky is the sky is the sky. Nice set dressing with the palm trees and building facade. Oh, yeah. Isn't it, though? Very, very closely considered shot. Can't even tell this is a green screen. I've done such a good job. Dude, I just thought of an April Fool's joke that requires way too much time and effort to pull off.
Yeah.
Like I could get like a shot of myself from one of these shows, snip it out, and put a green screen behind it. You know what I mean? And freak people out by having it like flicker, zzz, or having it like go out for a second, and I'm like, oh god damn it, and it comes back on.
All you gotta do is fuck up your camera again.
Oh yeah. Just cut in something like where I accidentally drop my camera and you see like a studio behind, you know, it cuts to like a studio shot. Like, whoa, oh shit.
It was pretty funny that your camera got fucked up just by something being too close to it.
Yeah. Tweet, tweet, tweet. Tweet-a-dee-a-dee. Are you aware Stanley Kubrick filmed the moon landing? Yes, I know. And I'm also aware of all of the context clues in his seminal horror work, The Shining, where he basically tries to confess to people that the moon landing was faked. I mean, there's a whole scene, a really giant, like, pivotal scene where Danny is wearing an Apollo 11 shirt. I mean, you can't, you know what I mean? He's wearing an Apollo space program shirt, sweater. Case closed. He filmed the moon landing. That's really what it comes down to when you look at it. When you look at all the like quote unquote evidence. Here's one of the things that people do all the time. And it's so easily debunked. So Stanley Kubrick had a relationship with Zeiss lenses. Zeiss is you can buy a Zeiss lens for, you know, a modern commercial camera, but they also make highly specialized lenses. And Stanley Kubrick had heard that Zeiss had made a lens for NASA that could take pictures in space and use that very low light and get, you know, nice pictures in space. And he was interested in shooting a movie where a lot of the scenes are in incredibly low light. And he needed a camera that could handle candlelight as it would have been in the period, because he was really committed to shooting this movie in a period style. And so he used his relationship with Zeiss lenses to get a loan from, like, a loan of those lenses from NASA to film, oh my God, dude, I'm such a brain fart machine.
Barry Lyndon?
Barry Lyndon, thank you. To film Barry Lyndon. And that is the connective tissue that you will find at the heart of every conspiracy theorist. They're like, how did this guy get NASA lenses? And I'm like, dude, he directed 2001: A Space Odyssey. He was like a national he was a global treasure. He had connections that other people don't have. NASA probably thought it would be really cool to have somebody like Stanley Kubrick use these for something other than just taking pictures of the stars when they're not being used. That's it. And they claim that shows that he was like some kind of NASA spy.
But yeah, if you want the full rundown of the moon landing conspiracy, room 237.
Oh yeah, that documentary that covers the moon landing thing and everything else, all the other conspiracy theories that people have come up with about The Shining. The Shining's like a paranoiac's dream, dude. It's because it's filmed in such a way that speaks of symbolism. And some of people's observations about it are ultimately probably correct. Stanley Kubrick was an every frame a painting kind of director, and a director that used heavy visual themes and symbolism, was very fond of the undercurrent of a story, very fond of the counter narrative. So, you know, and The Shining itself is just such a powerfully captivating movie that you combine those two things and you're going to get a movie that's just as deep as you want it to be. And I really think it was designed that way. Like, people have discovered that the layout of the Overlook Hotel is impossible. Like, it's an impossible building. It's got an internal office that has a window on the outside that couldn't exist, given, you know, because people walk through these same sets at the same hotel over and over again. And I can't help but think that that's deliberate on the part of Stanley Kubrick. What the fuck is that plane? Dude, calm down, kid. I don't like people that like all caps up in here. So you have to chill out. But yeah, no, I can't help but think that that's Stanley Kubrick realized that people pick up on things like that subconsciously. Like, when you spend an entire movie watching people with a chase camera walking through a place, you may not put it together immediately, but the uncanniness of it registers. Do you have any theories about The Shining? I mean, honestly, not really. I kind of watch the movie and take it at face value. It invites a lot of theorizing, but I think it's pretty like straightforward. A lot of people are puzzled by the ending. You know, that zooms in on that picture at the Overlook, and it's back in the 20s, and Jack is there. So I guess that most of the things that I theorize about it spring forth from that big giant invitation to theorize. Like, what the fuck does that mean? And I think that the movie is about alcoholism. Not completely as a central theme, but I think that that is the implication at the end of it. Behind Jack's breakdown, and it doesn't start there, but it ends there, is his falling off the wagon, indulging in alcohol again, and then all of a sudden he's chasing his family around with an axe. At the end of the movie, the character that looks just like him is holding up a champagne glass and toasting the new year with a room full of people. Yeah. So to me, that's really an overt theme in the film. You know, you have the whole Danny abuse sub theme that comes up where the social worker is interviewing, or the doctor is interviewing Wendy after Danny has his seizure when he has the shining or whatever. And she looks at his medical history and finds a broken arm, and she admits that it was Jack that came home and just grabbed him and shook him around and broke his arm because he was drunk, and that Jack stopped drinking as a result of that incident, and blah, 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 blah. So it's already painted this picture of a dude that is violent and has a horrible alcohol problem, and you see him succumb to it. Isn't that picture meant to be the same night when a bunch of people died at the party too? That parallel to Jack losing his mind. I don't know about that. I know that, you know, Grady, the original caretaker, killed his whole family, and so there's that supernatural kind of connective element. But really, if you strip away the supernatural from it, it's just a meditation on how that kind of story of the familial abuse plays out over and over again, has echoes throughout generations, tends to be passed along in the bloodstream, that sort of thing, you know. So I guess that would be probably the only like theory that I have about that movie, is that it has a very strong framework of alcoholism and the effects of alcoholism on a relationship and on a family. Because Danny's he's an emotionally disturbed kid. And it's implied that one of the major reasons why he's so emotionally disturbed is that his dad is a horribly abusive drunk that used to toss him around and break his arms and shit. You don't get over shit like that. Doesn't matter if the person quits drinking and does their best to put on a happy face and stuff. As a little kid, you're going to be fucking terrified of that person. And as an adult, you're going to despise them. And Danny is right in the midst of that. You know what I mean? He has every reason to fear his father. He has every reason to have these outbursts and fits that we see in the movie. None of it has to have a supernatural bent to it. He's an emotionally disturbed little kid. They act out. They paint things on the wall. They freak out and have meltdowns. And there are various mental illnesses and trauma-based reactions that fit all of those descriptors. I actually have not watched Dr. Sleep. I've kind of like, I don't want to watch it. It's almost offensive to me that it uses so many shots from The Shining and tries to connect itself so directly to that movie. It's just like I don't even care that it's based on a work by the original author of The Shining. The fact that the Kubrick Shining diverges so much from the original in terms of tone and presentation, and the fact that they're trying to do that combo effect again, but without Stanley. But let's just recreate a bunch of Stanley Kubrick shots and use them in our new movie, and so that we can sell tickets to The Shining 2. Fuck that, dude. I don't care what you call it. You know, I don't care that Stephen King wrote a book about it. I don't care. It just rubs me the wrong way, and I'm not interested in watching it. But I revere Kubrick films. I would never pay money to sit down and watch a 2001 remake. Ever. Ever. I would never pay money to sit down and watch a fucking Clockwork Orange remake. Ever. I don't think anybody can even come close to the original, and so there's no point in trying to rehash it through somebody else's eyes and vision. You know, shot-for-shot remakes are disgusting to me. I hate when people do them. It makes no sense. A good example of that is The Omen. You got the original, like 1970 Omen or 1969 Omen, and then they remade it in the 2000s, and it's a literal, like, with the exception of one or two scenes, a shot-for-shot remake. It's like, why though? So yeah, I'm super standoffish about any recontextualization of Stanley Kubrick's body of work. I don't like his name being used to sell things. I think that's tasteless. And so I really have no fucking interest in seeing Doctor Sleep. Reshooting Kubrick and remaking Kubrick, it would be particularly offensive to me, yes. To my sensibilities.
You know, that's why Dune rubbed you the wrong way, is because so many shots were for shot with Lynch's Dune.
I mean, there were a lot of examples of, like, heavy lifting from Lynch's shot composition in the movie. And on one hand, I'm one of the people that actually reveres Lynch's Dune. I think it's a great adaptation, a great stab at an adaptation of a very complex book. But one of the reasons that I like it is not necessarily how closely it follows the novel, because it doesn't. It skips a lot. It's the shot composition and all of that shit. That stuff is it's just beautiful to this day to look at. And if you're going to make a new movie that is, I don't have a problem with you being inspired by Lynch, but don't do shot for shot, man. Don't give me the same shot. And you can find these comparison shots between Villeneuve's Dune and Lynch's Dune. You can tell that in directing and during the editing process, a bunch of people were heavily inspired, heavily watching and heavily comparing against Lynch's shot composition. And that's just like, man, kind of wish you'd, because I don't know, man. I feel like I always come off like I really hated Dune, the new Dune, and I didn't hate it. I was just kind of disappointed in it. It didn't quite hit the high note that I thought it was going to with me. Do you think it's ever okay to remake a movie for any reason, like maybe the really old ones? It's more understandable. I'm fine with remakes if they're going to bring something new to the table. I'll give you an example of one, kind of obscure. So there's this 80s movie, Fright Night. And it's like a comedy horror movie that's still scary. You know what I mean? It's funny. It's kind of like a teen coming of age movie from the 80s, but mixed with actual horror. And it works, and it's a great movie. It's got a tone that, it's hard to hit. It's hard to compare. So along comes the early 2000s, and they give you a remake of Fright Night. And it's a totally different tone. It's not trying to be funny, and it tells a completely kind of like different story. It's basically the same thing, but it's with a whole different kind of presentation, more action, more high octane, pulse pounding, typical kind of horror stuff. And it works, right? I'm fine with that remake because I feel like somebody was like, man, we're heavily inspired by this. We love this story. We want to tell it but give it some new life. We want to do our own thing with it. Switch up the story. Do this, do that. I'm usually fine with those types of remakes. Now, when it comes to Kubrick's shit, don't touch that. Leave that alone. You know, that doesn't need a remake. Maybe some of Kubrick's early stuff could get like a modern, fresh coat of paint on it. What's that one? The
Killing?
The Killing, yeah. Yeah, they could.
I don't know. It was so fun.
It was great, right?
Yeah.
And beautifully shot.
Yeah.
Beautiful black and white. Beautiful performances all around, and a fucking just like really interesting story that felt like it was longer than it really was. It's actually a pretty short movie, but he got a lot done with it. So yeah, you're right. Maybe they should not even touch that. The Fly, yeah, Cronenberg films. I'm kind of and those have already suffered. Didn't they remake The Thing, or am I wrong? Have they not touched that one yet? But yeah, David Cronenberg is another director that his movies are so singularly visual and just great that I really honestly don't think they ought to do any modern redoing of it. Snip, snip. They made a Thing prequel in 2011. Okay, yeah. Well, that's different, I guess. I'm still not really looking to go see a movie like that, but
at least a prequel's trying to do something different with it.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Who'd you cast as Fade in Dune Part 2? Could be interesting to see Bill Skarsgård, considering who plays the Baron. Thanks for the $5, Android. Yeah, I don't know, man. I had some thoughts on that. There's a couple of people that I think might be able to give a competent Fade performance. So if I were directing Dune and casting Fade, I would want to talk to a few people. I would want to get what's his fucking name? See, he's too old now. I talked about this years ago, and I think that like my picks from years ago are now not really. He's got to be, in his 20s for sure. He can't look like he's 30 or 40 or 50 years old. That just doesn't work. And so a lot of the people that I think could have done that justice aren't really available anymore. Yeah, ideally around Timothée Chalamet's age. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not really super up to date on the younger kind of actors that are around, and the ones that I can think of are just a hard no. Like Tom Holland or some shit. There's no way, dude. You can't. That does not work. So I'm trying to think about like rappers and rock star type people. But there's so few rockers. And the ones I can think of are hell no. They're either too old or...
Yeah, there's not really another comparable Sting either.
No. I mean, there are people that have given off that type of energy, but they're too old now. There are people that could maybe kind of like get in there and do that kind of a performance, but I can't think of any. Machine Gun Kelly. Oh my God. Yeah. No. I think he's got the look. Like if we could put an actual functioning brain in Machine Gun Kelly's head, Pete Davidson. Too goofy.
I feel like it's too old too.
I mean, he's in his late 20s, right? How old is Skeet? Skeet Davidson. Dude, I'm Team Kanye, dude. You don't have to flaunt banging somebody's ex-wife like that hard in their face, dude. Team
28.
Kanye. Yeah, see, he's 28, so he could probably do it. But he's too goofy. He's too. I don't know. I just don't think he's got the chops. You got to get somebody that's got the chops. You got to get like a real narcissist in the role, you know, like a real self lover. So like young, young, what's his fucking name? Christian Bale, like Christian Bale from the American Psycho kind of era. That could do it. Jared Leto, no, no, no. They've been so mum about their casting. I've been watching. Who's gonna be Fade? Who's gonna be Fade? Fade. I follow a bunch of people on Twitter, follow a bunch of like little blogs and stuff that follow Dune Scuttlebutt, and so far nobody is talking anything about who Fade is. And man, we know that Denis has worked with Jared Leto before, and he said some absurd things. He said like he got like goosebumps, or he was like moved to tears by how badass and awesome and perfect Jared Leto was in Blade Runner.
Apparently, Austin Butler is rumored to be Fade.
Who the fuck is Austin Butler? That sounds like a corn-fed Iowa boy. That does not sound like Fade.
No, this is an Anaheim dude. 91, so he's pushing 30.
That's right at the edge. How's he built? Is he twinked out?
So, Austin
Give
Butler.
me a picture.
Yeah.
He looks like a Disney kid, man. He is a Disney kid. No.
So is Zendaya, to be fair.
No. No. I know Zendaya was, but I mean, I don't know. Oh, no.
That's rumored, though. Not confirmed.
That is an old picture. I mean, but still, though, no.
Who knows with rumors? I guess Florence Pugh is rumored to be Princess Irulan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she was in fuck, what's that movie?
The Falling, Lady Macbeth, Midsummer.
Yeah, that's the one I was trying to think of. Midsummer. Yeah. That's the one that I've seen most recently with her. But yeah, Midsummer, yeah.
You see her as Princess Irulan?
Yeah, I think it was a good choice. She's a great actress. And so that's you know, she's got the look. And she's a great actress. Irulan didn't really feature too heavily in the Lynch Dune.
Mm-hmm. Besides voiceover.
Yeah. Who will play Shaddam the Fourth, dude?
I don't see a rumor on them yet.
It's another one that they're just like playing real close to the chest. See, I love Jodorowsky's Dune. He was going after Salvador Dali to play the Padishah Emperor, and I'm just like, oh my fucking god, dude, that's perfect.
That would have been
amazing. It just would have been over the top. He had Orson Welles playing the Baron.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Come on.
We need to make a wormhole and go to the alternate universe where that movie was made.
Yes. That's definitely the Berenstein universe.
Yeah.
In the Berenstein universe, Jodorowsky's Dune got made, and it became a sensation, and not Star Wars.
Yeah.
It became the movie that all science fiction was trying to be, and Star Wars was a totally different thing and kind of petered out, and now everybody's just a big Dune fanatic in the Berenstein. Because I'm telling you, man, that movie would have been amazing. He was courting all kinds of different rock bands. He wanted to have every noble house, the Padishah Emperor, the Harkonnens, the Atreides, to have their own soundtrack written exclusively by one of the rock bands of the time. He was talking to Pink Floyd. He was going to have Pink Floyd do the Atreides one. It was amazing. He actually discovered H.R. Giger and was having H.R. Giger design the Harkonnens. He also was very committed on hiring different art teams to create a whole different look for each of the houses. And so H.R. Giger was one of the people that was working heavily on the Harkonnens and drew some amazing, oh God, you got to watch Jodorowsky's Dune, man. You really do. No, I just I don't think Bill Skarsgård is it. You think there's current famous artists like Dali living today who could play that role? Banksy. Dude, you can't deny that would be huge.
Yeah.
Banksy actually revealed himself by playing the Emperor. No, I don't know. Probably have to pick somebody older to do the Emperor justice. Come here. You got a little spider friend that decided to jump on you.
Want to say hello?
Hello. Say hello to everybody. Wasn't there supposed to be an Emperor spin-off series or something? Yeah, there's. I haven't heard anything about it recently, but they're supposedly doing like a mini series on it or whatever. It's based on the Bene Gesserit sisterhood. I think it's called Dune Sisterhood. Which, how did Dee's grooming session go? It was fine. Got him all snipped. He's ready for summer.
We're nice enough that he can be resummered.
Yep. Wish Jodorowsky would upload all the storyboard books for his Dune movie. At the end of the documentary, they flip through it and you can see every page. I think they've actually released that. You can buy like a big fat book of Jodorowsky's Dune where he's released all that stuff, like high resolution scans. I'm pretty sure. I would love that as well. I mean, that would be an amazing thing, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty expensive. All right. Apparently, the Ukrainian military blew up an oil depot in Russia. Any thoughts, Paul? I hadn't heard about it, so no, I don't know.
This is on a website, dunebooks.wixsite.com, for the storyboard of Jodorowsky's Dune.
Oh, you can get it, I guess, on a website too. Write the Paul's Ego Manifesto. No. No. Peel the barcode off the bottom of your mug. ASMR. No. Yo, what up, ball? Yo, what up? Get your ass timed out. Don't be asking me what up. Just take the Unabombers and put... What? Shut up. I'm a neither type of guy. I don't like, as a rule, I'm not a big fan of like sandwich places. And you got timed out for that. Good. That was a dumb question. Yeah, dude, when the mug goes back in the prop department, see, somebody knows. It's got to have a barcode on it. Otherwise, we don't know where to put it with all the other props. Then I get my mug mixed up with my Paul's Ego wig, and, you know, all of a sudden I'm coming out here bald-headed with a fucking coffee mug on my head. You know what I mean? You got to keep things tidy. The best sandwich places are little mom and pop stores. They use real, fresh ingredients. Shut up. Man. Oh, God. That just feels like such a fucking, like, bunch of old dudes sitting around at the racket club. You know, I really go to the mom and pop stores for my Subway sandwiches. They have the freshest ingredients and really, like, you know, you can't get that in one of these chain stores. Oh, don't tell me about it. Tell me about it. Old dudes sitting there in their towels. Hard-hitting sandwich journalism. I know, dude. I know, bro. Trust me, I'm right there with you. I feel the pain. It's raw and it's real.
The what up ruined everything, man.
Yeah, it did.
Derailed everything.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I banned it. Because it really did. It hiccuped everything, dude. We were having a nice conversation, and now we're just spinning out of control. We're just hurtling into the ether now. Yeah, dude. The wormwood is thick, dude. Look at it. I mean, it's bedtime. TJ's like, I saw it, he tweeted yesterday or something, like, he's like, I'm cracking down. I'm banning everybody. It's just like, oh, shit.
God damn it. I mean, I'm gonna get some bullshit, like, I got banned from TJ.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I don't control TJ. You don't control TJ. Scotty doesn't control TJ.
No.
There's nothing in the Patreon agreement that says you have access to TJ's Twitter.
No. Yeah, if it's not outlined in the patron perks, then it's not included. Yeah, dude, it's constant too. Like, TJ really does have the most sensitive little fans. So, dude, I've got the type of fans, they just, you know, they make another account immediately and they're right back. They don't give a shit.
People are protective about their Twitters. They don't like making Twitter alts.
No. No. Yeah, it's gonna be constant fucking TJ banned me, please situation. Please unblock. Like, all right, hold on. Let me call TJ right now and say, TJ, what's up, dude? Oh, yeah, it's Paul. Hey, man. Listen, I'm actually calling you on behalf of Piss Wizard 22.
I did have.
Yeah, I'm calling you on behalf of Piss Wizard 22. Yeah, he wants to know if you could like unblock him. Where? I don't know where. I'm assuming Twitter, but I don't know. You block people, all, right? Yeah, Piss Wizard 22, man. Come on. He's a good guy, man. He sent me a DM, and he told me how long he's been watching you, man. Come on. Could you unban Piss Wizard 22? Oh, thanks. And while you're at it, man, could you unban Pepe Le Frog 44.8? Yeah. Pepe Le Frog 44.8 as well. He's a good guy, man. He wrote me a thing. And also, while I got you on, no, never gonna happen, bro. Just save it.
Just sign out of Twitter and then you can see his tweets.
Yeah, there you go. Just save it.
Or if you don't want to get banned, don't interact.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, there's plenty of things that you can do. Dude on Catan the other day says what is called Bukake Madness, and I lost my mind. Yep, there you go. Yeah, dude, Pepe Le Frog, he's been going through a lot, and he said he's sorry that he was spamming. You know, he just lost his great uncle, and he's been real down lately. So if you could just unban Pepe Le Frog, that'd be great, man, from everything. Thank you.
Dude, I fucking hate that. Like, people having mental breakdowns in the comments.
It is so odd. Yeah, but it's, what is it called? It's called trauma dumping,
Yeah.
right? Where people will just literally, like, get drunk or all messed up and then just spam the inbox of every little thing or spam the social media of every little thing. And it's just like, man. It's just like the scream of attention.
Or just be like a complete fucking asshole and be like, I'm so sorry.
Oh, dude, that's the one that, like, it's like an abusive cycle.
Yeah.
Like I've had people that I've blocked on, like, whatever, Twitter or like Reddit, that have said the most reprehensible shit to me, and I'm just like, fuck this, and I block them. And then like later I get like a secondary account where they're honestly trying to sell me on having any kind of interaction with them ever. I'm so sorry, man. I was all fucked up that one time and fucking, you know what I mean? I was just having a hard time, and I kind of took it out on you, and I said, it was really, and it's like, I don't want to hear it, dude. I know how that fucking works, bro. I don't know you. I don't want to know you. I blocked you, and I'm going to block this. See ya. It's just like so weird that people are out there like with trying to draw you into that weird abusive relationship. You know what I mean? With no benefit to you at all.
Believe it or not, alcohol isn't an excuse for everything.
No. Alcohol is an excuse for nothing when it comes to your fucking behavior in public and your behavior with other people. Like, you can be an alcoholic and still be completely and utterly at fault for the outbursts and shit that you make. So you got to get with it, man. I don't buy this shit. I don't buy, like, and it really is out there, man. There are people that are really, like, intent on trying to draw other personalities and other people into this weird cyclical abuse cycle of, you know, nastiness, and then like not just like disagreement or whatever. I'm not even talking about being two-faced. I'm talking about like the most reprehensible shit, death threats and shit about your fucking family and all this shit, man. The worst kind of shit you can imagine. And then they'll come back to you with a long, flowery apology letter afterwards, and it's just like, dude, I'm not your fucking stepkid, and I'm not living in your abusive alcoholic fucking household. Get the fuck away from me. Like, seriously. trauma dump is really cringe. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of that type of shit too, where it's just like people will expect other people to be drawn into their shit. And it's like, man, I'm sorry, but I'm not a 1-800 suicide prevention hotline or whatever. Like like at some point you gotta fucking reach out and get help, and that's what I tell people every fucking time. But it's just so weird that they have to bounce it off of me. I just feel sick to my stomach every time it happens because I don't know if it's just somebody attention seeking, if it's somebody that really has some intent. You know, that's just one of those things. It's like there are so many resources out there and so many people that even make content based around that stuff. You know, and I'm real hesitant to give any kind of advice to anybody about things. I suffer from mental illness myself. I struggle with my own shit, man. I'm in no position. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a philosopher. I'm not, when it comes to medical shit, at least, you're not going to get medical philosophy out of me. I don't know what your treatment options are. I don't know what your life is. I don't have time or the inclination. I wouldn't engage in it if I could. Not out of any, animus towards you as a person, but just out of a base sense of the responsibility that comes with that shit. I know what it takes to be an effective therapist. I know I ain't got it. And there are tons and tons of places and people out there who are personally trained to deal with that sort of thing, and I ain't one of them.
Good commentary, D.
Clint Eastwood. D's new name is Clint Eastwood. I have an old friend doing that to me. He's asking to move into my attic. Hell no. I got my own shit. I mean, that's the best position to take on that. I've taken the opposite position on that and gotten burned enough to where it's pretty much not an option for me now. Like, honestly, there are very few instances I can think of where I would let somebody bounce off my house. And it would have to be just that. It would have to be like, hey, dude, can I stay with you for a couple of months or something? And it would be a heavy consideration even at that point. And it would be 2 months and that's it. You're out. Because I've been roped. I've been rodeo roped into that kind of fucking weird relationship before. And it's not a good thing.
Please.
Yeah, they're just gonna circle all day and all night. The rope-a-dope. This is just plain ridiculous. Jeez Louise, man. The endless noise of my existence, I know, dude. That's why I want the sea bass, man. You talk about like real, genuine quiet or very minimal background radiation sound. The sea bass. Dude, I gotta get the sea bass. I now know the area that I want to build the sea base, but it's going to be a big international incident because it's the space graveyard, dude. Point Nemo. The farthest from civilization that you can be and still be on planet Earth. A place where, if you're at it, the closest people to you are astronauts. Point Nemo, dude. But it's where they crash all their stuff. So they're not going to want to let me build out there, but I don't see how they can do anything about it, dude. It's unclaimed. It doesn't belong to any nation. If I want to take a boat out there and make a fucking sea base, I can do it. All right, but think about like dial down the sea base thing. What about like a houseboat? Hmm? What about a houseboat? Yeah, with a casino on it. Food. Fishing poles. You mean a yacht? Well, yeah, I mean, the bigger the better, you know what I mean? Yeah, dude, catch some lobsters. Throw a couple lobster traps on there, throw a couple fishing poles on there. Boom, food taken care of. How are you going to get like supplies? I have one of my people get on the helicopter, take off from the houseboat, go to the store for me. It's like DoorDash, you know? Bring all the stuff that I want back from the store and land the helicopter on the houseboat. And then some other people unload it and put it in the pantry and distribute it to the people that are like cooking the food, the chefs and whatnot. And then when they're done with that, most of those people go on the other houseboat because I don't want them just like lingering around the houseboat 24/7. I'm not trying to live with a bunch of people, you know? So when they're done with their job, they go to the other houseboat. It's like a smaller houseboat that they live on so that they're out of my way. Cause I like, honestly, dude, I'm not trying to live with a bunch of people, you know? So all the people, once their job is done, like the chefs, for example, like I don't want them lounging around smoking cigarettes and talking about their business and stuff on my houseboat. And so when they cook breakfast, when they're done, they leave the houseboat and they go to houseboat 2. And then that houseboat, like, you know, follows at a distance, so it's not messing up my view, you know. Stealing your mini yacht idea from our Lord Bezos, I see. Yes. I mean, you know, but just not, you know. You never get seasick? I don't, actually. I'm lucky that way. I don't get motion sickness very often, and I never get seasick. I've gotten like car sick one time or 2 times in my life, like where it was really like windy and I was a passenger and it just got like, ugh. But I've never gotten seasick. Highdeologies on a yacht would be pretty lit. I mean, I know, dude. Think about it. Listen, make me rich, okay? Make me rich. I will be the most entertaining and interactive billionaire that you've ever seen. I promise. I'll do Highdeologies from St. Bart's one day, and then like a week later I'll be, you know, chilling in Ibiza. Are you invited though? Through the magic of the internet. An intimate look at the life of a billionaire like you've never seen before. I might even let some cameras go on houseboat number 2. I might even go down there on houseboat number 2. Like, make them all get off and go to houseboat number 1 so I can get on houseboat number 2 and enjoy that. No, Paul, we need to be on the boats. No. No. There's not room. There's not room on the boats. Unless... No. I was thinking about like houseboat number 3, an even smaller and more rickety one. But then it would have trouble keeping up because I would make it like basically like a paddle boat. You know. How about that? You guys can paddle along behind it, and if you can keep up, you'll be part of the flotilla. I will warn you though, some of the people that live on houseboat number 2 are armed security people, and when we're in international waters, as we will be a lot, they may take a crack at you. And when I say a crack, I mean shoot a lot of heavy ammunition at you. So you might, like armor your canoe or whatever is what I'm saying. But other than that, dude, if you want to be, yeah, I can't stop you. Sounds like attempted murder. Yeah, I know. Pulling up on my houseboat at night in a canoe. Luckily, my security agents took every precaution and destroyed them before they could jump on the houseboat. Totally agree. Not in uncharted waters. Oh man, spring is, it's so pretty outside, but you guys can tell, dude, as I've sat here, I'm just suffering. Eyes are itching. So I think I gotta end this.